I think one of the most important pages for any church is the events page, the calendar page. What's happening? What are the regular services? What are the special events? And we could go ahead and create a page to do that job, but actually calendars are an example of a facility where it's really hard work, or at least it's really boring, maintaining a calendar by editing lots and lots of individual posts and creating special pages and so on. So that's a great candidate for using a plugin, and there's one that I'm going to recommend. Called All-in-One Event Calendar. Okay, and if it says timely on it, that's the one we want. Now this is a freemium service, and what that means is there's great functionality for free, but if you want really advanced features, you'll have to pay. But I'm not going to recommend anything to you, at least not without a very strong warning up front, if I believe that the basic functionality is so limited that it's no good for a live website. So I'm perfectly happy to use the basic free version of the All-in-One Event Calendar. It's installed, I'll activate it, and it's even suggesting what I want to do. Add some events. So let's suppose that every single Sunday we have a parish worship service at 11 AM. And it's going to repeat. Oops. Help if I actually chose a date for it. I'm going to put this date in the past, which might seem daft, but with recurring events sometimes it just is sensible to not have the calendar only include future events. It's quite nice for people to be able to browse forward and backwards in time. So that's a Sunday. Just double check that I got that right. Yep, Sunday comes before Monday, and it's going to repeat. So this is going to be every week on a Sunday forever. But here's a really useful feature, is we can actually say there are days it doesn't appear. So for instance, December the 25th, Christmas Day, doesn't fall on a Sunday, but we could exclude that date. Now I could enter location details, that's a really good thing to do, and a whole lot of other information. But let me just say this is as the main service, the main weekly at our church. We welcome people of all stages, whether new to the church or regulars over many years. Let me save a draft. And I'd quite like a featured image, so I'm going to use Bing. and choose an image to represent that service. So many choices. I'm going to give it some more clues. Now again, this isn't a real church, and I'm not too worried how that plays out, but let me try this one. So I'll save it in my computer and add a featured image. I'll need to upload it. Put in some alternative text just in case the image doesn't load. And that's now set as a featured image. Let's go ahead and publish. So this has a page all of its own. Here it is, or rather this is actually a post, which is a calendar event, but there's a plugin managing how that works. And straight away you can see that's how the featured image is being used. It's being used in this particular case as a nice big version, and also it's being used within the calendar event. And look at this handy feature. I could immediately add that to my calendar. If I'm using a computer and I also access my own calendar, for example a Google Calendar from here, I can go straight ahead and add this event to my calendar because the plugin understands all of that stuff. And that would be, I think, pretty much impossible to do just by editing posts. And we now have this whole exciting area called events that's appeared on the menus. The all-in-one event calendar has extended the WordPress system and created some extra menus. So let's look at our all events. There it is. We have a parish worship service which is there ready to go. And we better have a quick look at the settings. And all of a sudden, this is interesting because there's an associated website that I can sign up for free and make changes to how this works, which also means that this information is held in more than one place, so that I get a certain amount of security from that. Again, let me be clear, Timely is from time to time going to try and sell me the upgrade to its paid service, but in all the time I've been using this plugin, they've always maintained a really strong core free piece of functionality. And the bonus features are brilliant, but there's no absolutely driving call to upgrade to them. So I'm not going to go ahead and do that sign up or register right now, but that's something that you would want to do, I think, if you want to go ahead and use this feature. Let's look at our pages. Another page has appeared and we didn't make that page. Let's have a quick look at it. Well, we now have a calendar with events. There's the regular worship service. And we can look in different views. So in this case, it's an agenda view, which is a list of events that are appearing. But it could be a day view. Well, there's not enough here for that to be a particularly helpful setup. But it could be, let's look at the current week. Or let's look at the current month. Well, this is very reassuring. Because if I've been updating details, this is a helpful check. But also visitors to the website can really use this well and easily and creatively. And whenever we go ahead and look, the system is smart enough to be able to say, well, this is this particular date, and I can add it to my calendar. So we haven't done much work at all, which I like, but suddenly we have a really powerful feature. And we could bring in calendar events all over the place, because if we go back to our events, there are ways that we'll come back to of bringing in some of these events, or all of them, into any web page or post that we want. So for instance, if there's a particular event that you want to highlight, you can use the functionality of the calendar plugin in a simple way, and that way takes a bit of getting used to, but once you've got the idea, it's really powerful because it lets us include functionality and content from all over our website dynamically in pages. In other words, when the information that we want to display might have some static part of it, I'm going to say some introductory words, but then dynamically it's automatically going to bring in this case, events going on in the church. And that's such a helpful feature. But for now, I'll see you later.